Welcome to Geeks Love Dogs Book Dragons. And I thought I would do something a little special today. In honor of the fact that Hunger Games prequel is coming out next week, Sunrise of the Reaping, I would do my top 10 YA books for someone who doesn't like YA. Well, meaning me. Keep in mind, this is just my thoughts, my feelings, my opinions. Take that with a grain of salt. Take it any way you wish. Also, being that I read these and they were YA and there was something I wasn't going to keep reading, a lot of it I passed on to friends' kids so they could read and take advantage of and get usage out of something that I wasn't going to use anymore. So a lot of these will have pictures put in place as holders instead of the actual books. Hope you don't mind. If your book does not appear on here, I may not have read it. It may be just outside my top 10, or I may hate it. In any case, when I was doing research for this and I wanted to go back and look at the books I read and go through Goodreads and check my 2,200 listings I had on there or something, and I went down a rabbit hole for the best YA as voted on by Goodreads readers. And I should have known better because I've seen their choices for best books of the year for the last decade plus since I've been on Goodreads since 2012. And I should have known better because going through this list, and I'm not talking about bad tastes. I'm not talking about people's opinion that I don't agree with. I'm talking about what they consider to be YA. I went through this list and there are things I don't consider to be YA that were on the list that I could see maybe being on there, like To Kill a Mockingbird or Ender's Game, which I like the books, but I don't consider them to be YA. But some of the books that were on there just blew my mind. Joe Abercrombie's First Law trilogy, Game of Thrones, books on business, books on mental illness, hard sci-fi, Kafka on the Shore, Handmaid's Tale, Lolita was on the YA reading list for Goodreads. Some of these may be great books, but hardly YA appropriate. So I was amused. There was also a lot of Stephen King on there. Carrie and The Stand. I love Stephen King. I'm a huge Stephen King fan. But I don't, myself personally, my opinion, do not find it appropriate for the average standard, say, 13-year-old. Your mileage may vary, as I said. Your child may be advanced. Your child may be, you feel mature enough to handle it, and that's fine. That's your choice. I don't think anyone should ever tell you how or what your child should read or not read. I am strongly against it. Like I said, this is my opinion. The only Stephen King book I would find personally appropriate for the average general, say, YA reader, say 13-year-old, would be The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. If your kid's bugging you to read Stephen King, but you're worried about content, understandably, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon is a good book to give them, a good place to start. Just saying, like I said, my opinion. Don't kill me. And feel free, if you don't see a book on here you think should be, I'm open to trying new things, open to reading new YA. I'm not completely opposed to it. I just don't always enjoy it. It has to be something that really catches my attention. Feel free to comment and let me know what you like. So let's get started. At number 10, I have The Summoner series by Taran Matharu. This is a 3-book series with a prequel and a handbook, along with a couple short stories. I've only engaged with the base series. It is about Fletcher, a blacksmith's assistant who finds out he has the power to summon demons and gets sent off to a military academy in order to train along with other people who have this ability to fight a war against the orcs. Now, I'm going to put up front, this is basically Hogwarts meets Pokemon with demons. And I gotta say, I relish the thought of the moral majority finding out about this series and having a holy hissy fit, because demons, Pokemon, Hogwarts, magic, all in one series for YA, for teenagers, for young adults. Yeah, I would love to see that. But that's just me. In any case, it is written a bit young overall. Easy to read, obviously, as YA is supposed to be. But the thing about it was just fun. It was just goofy, over the top, silly fun. Put it at number 10 because it's something that maybe not a lot of other people would think of under YA. And I always like to expand people's choices. Okay, let's move on to number 9. At number 9, we have Generations trilogy by Scott Siegler. This is a science fiction YA series that does skew a bit older. It would be right dead in line for, say, 15 or 16-year-olds, and easily readable by younger or older as well. This involves a crew of teenagers who wake up not knowing who they are, where they are, or what's happening, and they have to figure out their circumstance. It reads a bit like Maze Runner and Lord of the Flies. It has that feel, and it has a very diverse cast. It's very intelligently written. It's not dumbed down at all. The mystery in the first book is fantastic. Definitely should read the first book. And the other ones expand and change the story a great deal after the realization of what has happened and where they are and what's going on. Just like Maze Runner did, where once they are out of the maze, the world is a different place, but very different in this case than Maze Runner of what's going on. The Generations trilogy by Scott Siegler. At number 8, The Shattered Sea by Joe Abercrombie. Now, be careful with this one because Joe Abercrombie is generally not YA. He did this as a YA series, and make sure that if you have your kids read this, you're not letting them read the first lot of books without knowing what you're getting into. In this case, The Shattered Sea is another one that's very intelligently written and more appropriate for, say, a 16-year-old. It's not a young written YA series. Highly intelligent, very inventive, very creative, and very enjoyable, to be honest. It is a fantasy series with book 1 following one character and book 2 following a separate character, while book 3 puts the stories together. And it's difficult to give you too many details without spoilers, so I'll keep most of it to myself and you can look it up. But yeah, Shattered Sea by Joe Abercrombie is only YA series, and it's definitely good, even for adults. At number 7, I have Maze Runner Book 1. I say Book 1 because for me, Book 1 stands alone. It changes for me when they discover what's really going on. The mystery of the first book is part of what made it so great. You probably know Maze Runner. This is not something new to you. You probably have seen the movies or read the books, or at least are aware of what it is. And if you are, then you'll understand why I may like the first book better than the others, and why it may stand separately from the others for me. At number 6, I have the Wizard of Earthsea series. The classic story by Ursula K. Le Guin of Ged as he comes into his power, grows up, and faces his demons, figuratively and literally. It is a classic for a reason. It still holds up and is a fantastic series. Highly recommend it for adults as well as young adults, and definitely deserves your time. Sorry about that. It's nice out, the doors are open, and my dogs have decided the neighbors are the enemy. So Wizard of Earthsea. I don't care if you're an adult or a teenager, young adult, check it out. Definitely deserves to be read. And number 5, Hunger Games, book 1 and 2. Yep, I said books 1 and 2. I did not enjoy the third book. As far as the movies went, I think they did a good job with the movies covering book 3, but I didn't love the third book. Same with the other prequel they did about President Snow. I didn't love the book, but I thought they did a really good job of the movie. I am looking forward to the new one coming out. I did pre-order it, and as somebody who doesn't like YA, that's kind of saying something because I'm really curious about Hamish's story. So, Hunger Games, books 1 and 2. On to number 4. We have The Rhythmatist by Brandon Sanderson. This, at this point, is a standalone, and it involves a magical school. Again, yes, sorry, that's kind of a common trope. Maybe you like that trope. It's fine. Where they use chalk in their magic. Literally being able to draw symbols with chalk to create magical events, magical spells, things that can be brought into fruition by the use of chalk, which I thought was a fairly original idea. And I really did enjoy it. I've given this book to several people, and they've all seemed to like it. I even got my non-reading son to read it, and he liked it. So this is something, if you are a Harry Potter fan, you'd probably enjoy if you're a Harry Potter fan but don't want to read Harry Potter due to your personal feelings or beliefs. This is a nice alternative. And again, it's not dumbed down. It doesn't feel like it was written for 12 or 13-year-olds necessarily. It's a very interesting book. Good characters, good magic system, as you'd expect with Brandon Sanderson. Good world building. And yeah, pick up a copy because you just might like it. And you might find something familiar about this as you see the United Isles. You can see that was originally the United States. So there's something else going on there that's kind of neat. I actually would prefer there to be a sequel to this, and hopefully someday he'll write one. In any case, number 4. At number 3, we have The Hobbit. Yes, The Hobbit was written and originally meant to be a YA book. I think it succeeds on that level and is something that can be read and enjoyed by adults. We all know the story in some aspect, whether we've seen the movies, whether we've seen Lord of the Rings, whether we've read The Hobbit growing up or as adults. It's a fantastic book that never aged out of what it intended to be. It still reads well. It's still fun. It's still completely enjoyable. It holds up. It's brilliant. It's hard not to love it. Yes, this is the special illustrated edition I did pick up that has the maps and such inside, which are a lot of fun, but you don't necessarily need the special illustrated edition to enjoy it because it's just a fantastic book, no matter what age you are. In any case, number 3, The Hobbit. If you haven't read it already, what are you waiting for? Number 2, and here come the groans, Harry Potter series. I do have the whole series back here, but I thought I'd show you this one. This was actually a gift. It's a version of the first book from Iceland. Everybody knows what Harry Potter is. You either love it or you hate it. And that's fine. I think it's fantastic storytelling. I understand all the issues that people have with J.K. Rowling, and I understand, and I'm fine with that if you feel a certain way about that. I'm not buying any more of her books, but I already own them, and I enjoyed the story, and I'm only talking about the story itself, the adventure that I went on, which was probably, other than The Hobbit, maybe the first YA books I ever read, but I do absolutely love the story. I think she did a fantastic job with the story. I know she borrowed from a lot of places, as do many, but in any case, it's great. And now I hear you asking if Harry Potter's number 2, and he's already talked about Hunger Games and Maze Runner. What is number 1, right? What could be number 1? My number 1 all-time YA series is The Illuminae Files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. These definitely do not read like YA, like you might think. These books are absolutely fantastic sci-fi. They're absolutely brilliant in many ways. So let me explain to you. So in the first book, you follow one character through a story. And the story is fantastic. In the second book, you follow a different character who's on the other side of the galaxy during the same events. In the third book, Obsidio, is how those two stories come together. And the story is absolutely fantastic sci-fi. For YA, it's just so well done, so well imagined, so fun, so full of action. But here's the thing, and I'm going to tell you, if you tend to read these, under no circumstances ever are you to do it as audiobooks. Because part of the joy of these books, part of what makes them so unique and so great, is what they do on the inside of these books that could never be replicated in audio. Because part of the story is told through word art. And without the art, you lose some of the book, some of the feel of the book, some of the things that make it so unique, some of the things that you cannot experience in any way, shape, or form through an audiobook. And even an ebook will be lost on this. This is one book, no matter what you do, that I highly recommend that you read in paper form. The book is told through a series of briefings and notes that are filled in after the fact by somebody trying to figure out what actually happened. And some of the story is done literally in word art. And the presentation of it is just what puts it over the top and what makes it so unique. There's photos of in some of these books of the characters as they appear on the ship and as things happen to them. There's things that are going on that are done, represented through art and word art. I'm trying to find another example. So all through here are visual things that you can't be shown without seeing it with your own eyes. It can't be done through audiobook and even lose something in ebook form. So as I said, I highly recommend you pick this up in paper. So as you can see, this is something that the way it's presented adds to it. So if you want to read it, really pick it up in paper. Anyway, so that will be my top 10 YA books from someone who does not like YA. Hope you aren't too upset with me. I hope I didn't insult something you loved or hurt your feelings with something I picked. I did not mean to. This is simply my opinion. I hope you got some enjoyment out of it, and I hope you'll come back. I hope you'll like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, please advise me. Tell me what YA books I should be reading, what I'm missing, what's out there that I don't know about. I'll be glad to listen. You never know. I might read it. So till next time, hope to see you back. Have a good day.